Hi, I'm Chef Lou, and I'm going to show you how to use the chef's touch test to determine the doneness of meat or poultry. What we have here are two lamb chops, one of which is raw and the other which has been cooked, in this case by pan searing, and it's been cooked to about medium rare. So if you need to determine the doneness of a thin, small piece of protein, such as a lamb chop, a pork chop, a steak, a boneless chicken breast, it's difficult to do with a meat thermometer like this, and I'll tell you why. This is a bimetallic stem thermometer, and if you look closely here, you can see that there is a dimple right there on the stem. And that dimple is where the thermometer actually registers heat. And that's about 1/3 of the way up. So clearly, if I tried to use this thermometer to judge the doneness of something as small as this chop, that dimple is not going to go anywhere near the center. So we can't get an accurate reading with a meat thermometer on a small piece of protein like this lamb chop. So instead, professional chefs use what we call the touch test. So to understand how that works, it's important to know a little bit about the composition of proteins, in particular meats and poultry. This doesn't apply to fish. That's another matter entirely, and we'll deal with that in another video if you like. So when a meat protein or poultry protein is raw, its fibers are really very loose and very soft. So as you can see here, if I press on this piece of lamb, it's really, really squishy. However, if I press on this piece of medium rare cooked lamb chop, it's going to offer me some resistance. That's because when heat contacts protein fibers, they contract and the meat starts to firm and tighten. So the feel of that firming and tightening is what's going to give us a clue as to what's going on inside the meat, what the internal temperature is and what the color is going to look like, going from dark maroon through rosy pink to light pink to finally brown if we should be so unfortunate as to want our meat to be well done. So in order to do that, we have a pretty cool trick that we use to instruct culinary students and aspiring chefs, and I'm going to show that to you now. So what you need to do is put your hand out on a flat surface and relax it. Don't be all tense. It's important to just have a normal tension in your hand. And we're going to use this part of your hand by pressing on it firmly in order to judge some feels that you might encounter when you're dealing with meat that is cooking. So if you press on your hand with it open and lying relaxed, it's going to have that same squishy feel that the raw meat had when we pressed our finger on the raw lamb chop. So that's raw. Now, if we put together our index finger and our thumb like so, that's going to tighten our muscles just the same way that heat tightens the muscles of a piece of meat. So if we press on that now, it's going to feel different. It's going to feel more firm. Still has some give to it, but it's firmer than raw. So there we have a rare doneness, about 125 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. If we put 3 fingers together and feel, it's going to feel firmer. It's tightened, same way the meat would. And so that is going to give us medium rare, about 130-ish of internal temperature. We put thumb and 3 fingers together and we press. It's going to give us even more resistance, and that's going to feel like medium, 135-ish. Finally, if we put our fingers and thumbs together, we're going to press, and that's quite firm. That's going to give us medium well, 140 to 145. And then finally, if we really, really grip our fingers together, we're going to have almost no give, a lot of resistance, and that's going to feel like well done. So that's the trick that we're going to use when you're going to cook chops, steaks, or even boneless chicken breasts. So from now on, when your meat is in the saute pan, on the grill, even under the broiler, you take it out of the broiler, of course, to do your testing. You just reach in, give that meat a touch, and then touch your hand the same way we just showed you. And you're going to have a good clue as to what the doneness in the inside of that meat is going to be. Of course, if you're not sure, when you're just learning, you can always turn the meat over, make a little slit with a paring knife, and take a peek and look at your color and see if it's where you want your meat to be. So, I hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned something, and I encourage you to try this when you're cooking on your own. Thanks for watching.